I'm ready. Hey, this is Justin for Longboard Envy, and today we're gonna learn how to glove down Bluntslide.
Yeah.
Right. The reason I like this trick so much is you could do it on a bunch of different types of setups. All you really need is a board with one kicktail, like this Earthwing Team 37. But it's really important to note that you will get razor tail pretty easily with Bluntslide type tricks. This one's not as bad because I haven't been doing it too long on this setup. So if you want to prolong the life of your deck, you might want to get something like this tail guard here, and that just prevents the deck from scuffing and it'll keep your deck living longer. This slide can be broken down into 4 steps. Step 1, start your slide. It's helpful to break traction at a 45-degree angle, and when you're sliding, always remember to keep your slide either a little bit under or a little bit over 90 degrees so you don't flat spot your wheels. Step 2 of this trick is getting your tail to make contact with the ground, getting into like the heel slide blunt position. It's gonna look a little bit awkward standing still. It's much easier to understand when you're actually moving and doing the slide, but I'll try my best here. So you're still gonna be at that 45-degree angle. You're gonna be sliding like so. Yeah, here we go. And then what you're gonna wanna do is take your front hand here. It's gonna be in your sliding position in line with your front foot. And then you're going to shift your weight back and also shift that weight onto the back foot to get the tail making contact with the ground. 2 helpful tips here are to keep this front hand in line with the front foot, and then your back hand is going to be sticking straight out to avoid over rotating. And this takes us into the 3rd step, which is holding the slide out. And what I like to do to get the slide to hold out is to shift a little bit past 90 degrees so you don't flat spot your wheels, making sure that front arm is straight out, and that puts you on top of your board a little bit more so that it doesn't get away from you. And if you have to put 2 hands down to start the slide, that's totally fine because it's a weird slide, it's tough to do, and it can still look steezy with 2 hands down. You just want to make sure that the board doesn't get so far away from you that you're like kind of stretched out because you'll ice out on that. And that is that for steps 2 and 3. Step 4 of the slide is the hardest part, which is getting up from the slide. You're going to be getting up from an awkward position. You're going to be positioned somewhat like this, just like your sliding position. So you're going to be like this, and you'll be able to tell when the slide's ready to end because it'll get a little choppy. Getting close to the end of the slide, be sure to keep your front arm straight and shift your body to roll away in your regular stance. To do this, you're going to bring your front hand closer to your body, which will help vault your body forward. As you do this, push your front leg back down while turning your front hip to face straight down the hill. Use that little bit of momentum you get to stand back up and then take your hand off the ground. A good way to practice this is to just be in your living room in the sliding position and practice getting up from this specific pose. And to do that, you just put your front leg back down, stand back up, and your back knee is going to be a little bit over the board. So practicing getting up from this specific like awkward squat position, that's going to be super helpful. There are 3 common issues that you might run into when trying to learn this slide. The first issue is accidental 180s. And the most common reason for that is just staying in the slide for a little bit too long, so your body's kind of forced to 180 in order for you to put your weight back on your front foot and land and roll away. That's totally fine though. Like, they look pretty cool, accidental 180s in the slide, because a 180 glove down Bluntslide is still a pretty cool trick, and you should be stoked on that. Biggest piece of advice to avoid doing the 180 is knowing when to exit your slide, as I said previously, and just practicing getting out the slides earlier. The second issue that people might run into is not being able to get up from the slide. Like I said before, it's a tough slide to do, and you're going to be in an awkward position, so that in general is going to be a little bit hard to get up from. A good way to get around this is just to keep drilling, standing up from that awkward slide position. And if you want to do this in motion, but you're not fully comfortable with the blunt slide yet, you can practice double-handed Coleman slides. So you got like both your hands on the ground, and then straightening out from a slide like this will again help you get up in that weird position from all the way flat on the ground, and that can help you learn to get up from these glove down blunt slides, because really the only difference is you're popping your tail up. So once you master the double lay back Coleman and you're comfortable with that, you should have a much easier time getting up from the glove down blunt slide. The last problem that some people might face is not being able to roll away from the slide straight. So basically ending the slide sideways. If you're pointed downhill enough, you can roll away from this and it'll still look steezy. Say like you end the slide at a 45-degree angle like this, you can still like kind of roll away a little bit. But if you're ending at 90 or a little bit above 90, that's because you're not really rotating your hips back enough to your regular position. So you can practice doing that in the blunt position and really trying to reinforce moving your hip back to the position to get yourself rolling back straight. That's all I've got for you on glove down blunt slides. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comments or direct message me on Instagram. I'm going to be posting the URL to my written portion of this in the video description as well. I really like this trick because it's so versatile. You can do it on a bunch of different types of setups, and you don't necessarily need hard wheels to do this trick, which is super cool. And you can throw it in a bunch of different types of combos and it'll look super steezy. I hope you enjoyed this video. Keep shredding, everyone.